huge a fan, but occasionally he comes up with some interesting stuff. And one of the things that he says in respect of suicide is that it's a thought that gets him through the dark night of the soul, for precisely this reason that, look, as soon as it gets bad enough, I can check out.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so just bear that in mind, alright? Things are bad, but it can only get so bad because if it gets any worse than that, you can take yourself out.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't have to be here, I don't have to be me
Mm-hmm.
forever. There is a solution, and I do have that within my parish. A very interesting idea, very Greek, frankly, very Greek and Roman idea, very pre-Christian idea, that I actually find that rather attractive, and I find it rather, it's very, very modern in the sense that we are now a post-Christian society, and we are having to deal with all kinds of end-of-life issues that the last 100 years we didn't have to deal with, but now with medical technology, bringing people.
It's also a death of God experience, I think. Like in the
well, in the sense that if God's not here, I don't need to worry about suicide anymore because I won't be transgressing some kind of divine law by taking my life. Yeah, and I won't be jeopardizing my room in the mansion that God has prepared for me.
He's written out some students now.
It's not there, so it's okay.
Well, for me, the other day, and I see this without any sadness. This is the thing, for me, there's a little bit of sadness in depression, but it doesn't play that major a part. It's different from sadness. But like the how can I word it? I woke up the other day and I just like there was, it feels like there's like an installing of a computer when it's like, oh, there's that, fuck, all these things that are difficult or I need to worry about, and just for a moment I was like, I could kill myself, right? But here's the thing, right? It was just like I was like, oh yeah, and that got me up. And it's like, I don't mean that to sound like I'm genuinely considering doing it, but it was just like, I don't know, almost, don't take it so seriously because you do have that option. I don't want to die. I would like it to stop sometimes. But that doesn't mean that I want to die or want to kill myself, but the appealing of just, I don't need to think of any of it or feel any of it is appealing. Yeah. And my life has been a development of trying to be healthier so that the days are more bearable. Do you get what I mean? It sounds very downbeat, but I don't think that sort of depression just isn't the right word, but over there.
What's not the right word? Depression or sadness?
Depression. I don't like that word.
Depression, you don't like?
I don't like that word. Right. No, it's not that it's an offensive word. Anyway, put it over here for a second. If it's there and I'm 26 and it's been there since primary school, right? Give or take, primary school, mid primary school. I have no reason to believe that it's just going to just completely vanish, right? I have no reason to believe that based off what I've lived so far. Could happen, but going off the evidence, probably not, possibly not. Yeah. So the winter is coming, so how do I get ready for the winter? Rather than going, stop the winter. How do you do that? But I am wary also. I don't want to be denying myself the opportunity for it to go away, but B, I also don't want to be trying to get myself to achieve something that isn't possible because it's genetic. There are life events that kind of co-align with some of these things, but to me, it feels like, whether it's true or not, it feels like I'm basically saying that to me is self. These are events in my life, that things happened, that I responded to in a certain way, which may have led me to feel some of the things I feel now. Not specific emotions, lingering moods of being. So if I can teach myself to be okay with those things, you kind of defeat the self, the negative aspects of the self. There's times when I really like the Stewart, and there are times when I don't. And it's like, I feel that I could be more consistently happier this way by alleviating these things. Wow. I still dream of my primary school, my secondary school.
You dream about your
hell, it's all in my childhood home. It's been, I thought I'd got rid of them because I made like a video about each of them. Still do it, and I'm still there. And I keep kind of thinking, am I blocking something out? And it's like, but I don't think so. There just is this emotional attachment, like this, like so strong, which I feel, I don't know, I feel like I'm comparing always my current moment to previous ones. To emotionally reproducing old memories because I'm attached to them. Do you get what I'm saying? Loss, loss of control, whatever it is, you know what I mean? So to me, these things like self, depression, and dreams, not talking about dreams yet, but we'll get onto that, do play an integral part together. I believe there's a degree which you, they talk about meditation and what have you, but it's like becoming more aware. See, you are just a processing machine. Just allowing yourself to just be aware of that process and not judging it, not blaming it, it's not that you don't take control of your life, it kind of feels the opposite, you know, just allowing it a bit more. That's been my sort of pursuit and my passion and my dream, is to be able to do that, you know.
How much of this, though, is it more about memories than it is about dreams? I mean, how much time do you spend thinking about past events, or back to your original childhood or primary school or whatnot?
I don't think consciously, but I think that perhaps there's a kind of lingering. So I left my childhood home when I was about 10, but under the circumstances that it was with my mum's new partner, it was to a side of the city I didn't know or like, it was far away from so-and-so, so there was this feeling of shit, I'm losing my home. Wow. And I wrote this recently, I haven't found my home again, right?
Since 10?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
26.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, man. Wow. I've physically been, only the other day I was over there filming it, I've been in the place and that's not where my home is. And I know that feeling is inside me and it's off limits. And I feel that, so by proxy, I'm kind of dreaming of the thing that feeling was. I don't know how the hell you release that or let that go, but it plays a big part in what I call my depression. You know, the word depression for me is like, whenever I speak to, I don't mean to be controversial, but whenever I speak to doctors, there doesn't seem like like if you say I've got this on my leg or whatever it is, they will take you through it. With mental health, it's a bit more general things, but we're not quite sure. And I think that's because it's so, depression is like the packet, right? It's the packet, and then you inhale it and it bonds with you. It's like a symbiote, right? And so when you become more intelligent, it becomes more intelligent. It's like a self-destructive thing for whatever reason. And I think depression, or what I deem mine, is like a triggering of that process. I believe that process is illogical. Why? This is why I talk about the self as an evolution. What is the logical purpose to depression? What purpose does it serve? And is it a result of the camera realising itself? Do you know what I mean? Is it like a negative side effect of that? A growth of that? A destroying of that?
If you hadn't been uprooted at the age of 10 and kind of lost your sense of, this is my home and I'm at home and that's a safe place and I feel good here, do you think you would have become depressed? Were there any signs of depression before then?
Yes, there were signs before it. I've got one in specific, but I'll just say quickly, I spoke to my dad today about this. My gran had a similarly life-altering event, the death of one of her children, when the child was 1 year old. But to me it was like, I don't know if that triggered or what was already inside her, or it generated it. It could be both, and I don't know. Fuck knows.
How much family history have you looked into?
So recently, I my grand's digging up like her family tree, but that's just names on a bit of paper. That's not like knowing this emotional stuff.
You don't know much about them.
My dad's dad, we don't really know, not sure. My gran, I think disposed to, is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah,
you know,
predisposed
to it.
Yeah.
But she did have that big event, and no one we know knew her before it. So we don't really know for sure. I spoke to my mum, and she said that her dad and her mum, their parents were both a bit kooky. In different ways, but she says, but back then it would have just been eccentric. It wouldn't have been thought of as so and so.
Mental health issue.
But the way she talks about it, it's like, oh, that is bizarre. It's like, you know, hoovering at 4 a.m. and shit like that. Do you know what I mean? But also, Stephen once said about Kurt Cobain, and I thought it was very interesting. Kurt Cobain was a poster boy for the self-loathing teen sort of thing. And he said, but that's like, it's good for people that can relate to him, but there'll be people who love the music who try to relate to him. And that's bad. And I was like, God, I never thought of it like that. So I wonder, has the creature that is, you know, Stuart's dad, Stuart's brothers, his grandfather, see, that's one creature over the past 300 years, has it learned bad habits? Or is it unwell? Because those are different things. You can break a habit if you're genetically unwell. Mm-hmm. I don't know the answer to that, because the doctor can't. I don't know how you go about finding that out. Is there a process? This little diagram here, right? Let me show you. So I was like, here's your head, right? There are the outer influences and events which happen to you. Right. Then it comes in, the experience is viewing it. The internal processing system happens, where the external event, there's a thought about it, there's a feeling about it, and it clamps. Where's my wee clamping thing? It clamps, and there's a memory. And then the experience starts to see and sort of understand the intake information through that memory. Mm-hmm.
And as long as all of this eventually gets triggered into an action, you've got the whole thing, there's the whole circuit put in place. Because the idea from the evolutionary psychology, evolutionary biology people is that your brain is there to mediate between external information and action. Your brain is connected to your body to get it to do things.
So again, I have this image of like looking down from one of these massive bridges, and it comes down to the who is it? Aristotle. The only question we need to ask ourselves.
Camus.
The only question we have to ask ourselves is whether or not to kill ourselves.
Yeah.
And you know, that's like that is that minute you stand here, and the step there is it.
Yeah.
I remember being in LA actually at Universal, and there was just this wall you could lean on. It was like, holy shit! It was like a huge drop, and I was just like, alive, dead, one step.
Yeah.
And of course I considered it, not because I was planning on killing myself, just I considered it. You have to, and it was like scary how unprofound it was because it was just one action, but at the same time it was like, oh God. I don't know how it makes me feel, and like I said earlier, it's just no more me I want sometimes, right? But you're stood on the bridge and the decision is made to step off. That to me is like the mystery box. I have no idea how that happens, because I haven't reached it. I hope I don't, but like I haven't reached it. From a philosophical point of view, the decision to do one or the other, and it really feels like you can only really choose to do one. You can only really kill yourself. You know what I mean? Because you will die. Philosophically, those who choose to make that decision, philosophically, like, why? How does it come to that? Not just in external events, but you know, the brain. Is it the brain goes, this is too much? Something clicks to go end it.